After so many years, Gary has finally opened up the gates for the S&box developer preview to the public. And if you want to figure out how to download it, check out this video right here. But today, we're going to start with introducing you to S&box and things you'll want to look into. Reminder, this is still an alpha, so you're going to experience games that are downright broken or currently not working. First off, let's start with the new players. As you can see, I'm currently on S&box right now, and at the top, you can see that there's 4 tabs. But let's start off with the Discover tab. As you can see, there's a ton of games that are here, which a lot of people are on, and from the information that is provided for each game, sometimes you're able to see if there is a huge amount of players that are on the game, if it's been updated, or who made the game, how many people total have played it, etc., etc. Of course, if you want to take out the time to check out a game, you're able to just click on the image and it'll pop it up for you and take you into the game. Or if you want to learn more details about the game, you're able to click on the title. And from here, you're able to check out all the information that you need, including when the game was created, what the game is about, the credits, and you're able to like and dislike the game. You could favorite the game, or you can write a review, or even better, you're able to check out any sort of news about the game if there's any updates or patches that go out. Every single game has the opportunity to provide you this information through this screen. Now let's check the Games tab. So the Games tab is fairly basic. It's a place where you're able to see every single game that's been uploaded onto S&box. And at the same time, you're able to see here in the top right corner that there is a trending, popular, newest, updated, and most voted filter system. So you could check out depending on these certain criteria that you would want, and you can also search for specific names on S&box. We're going to do S&box, which you can see there's only 3 S&box type games on S&box right now. Next up, we have the Maps tab. Now, this is a little bit of a random tab right now because there isn't really many games that will utilize this unless it's a S&box type game mode. You can see what kind of maps are being uploaded onto the game, and there's tons of them. So if you do get the chance to, you're able to see through here or through the game that you're playing that supports changing the map and seeing what other maps you can download, just like Gary's mod. This is the avatar tab. So as you can see, currently, this is what my Terry looks like. Now, I know a ton of you probably do not like Terry as much, and this is really depending on the game that you're playing. There's a ton of games out there that use Terry as a placeholder, while other games in the near future will allow you to create your own type of player model. So for any game that uses Terry, this is what your Terry is going to look like when you play that game. But as you can see, this is absolutely everything you're able to do within the customization that you would normally expect, like facial hair, hats, tops, gloves, bottoms, footwear. There's even outfits. There's a ton of things that are here. So if you want to take out the time to customize Terry, you can go and do that. Who knows if in the near future that there will be a way to change if you can customize between the characters, but most of the time it's also depending on the game itself too that you're playing. Going back to the main menu, there is a couple of other things that we can look at, including the streaming mode. Now, this specifically is meant to be a way for you to connect to Twitch, depending on if there's certain APIs, which some of these games might use that you can connect with to play with your audience. But hopefully it'll be also used as a way for people who want to stream or create content to hide names, just like they would in Rust or other things like that. We have the settings tab right next to it, which you can change absolutely everything. And one of the most important parts about it is the cache and storage. This is the most important part of the settings because of the amount of storage you're able to see is taking up on your drive. It determines what is being used and what is not being used. Now, sometimes you're going to be downloading a lot of different type of games and models that you go and try out on S&box, and it's going to eat up a lot of storage. What you can do is in the bottom right corner, it says delete unused assets. So when you do that, you'll be able to clear up space, and from there, you can go right back on S&box and start downloading other games. But this is a very quick and easy way for you to clear up any sort of cache or unused assets or games that you're not really playing anymore, and go back into playing some more games that you might want to download or get into for the near future. Last but not least, we do have a party system, as you can see in the bottom left corner here. This allows you to create a party from which you can set the capacity and if it's public or private, so anyone else can join you, or if it's just you and your friends, so that from there you're able to go and join any of these games all together as a group. So I do want to mention about the server system. Now, when it comes to games, kind of like Gary's mod, which you're more used to, they have a dedicated server browser tab. And as you can see, there isn't one on here. So every single game that's on S&box has their own individual server browser. So let's say, for example, I go on a game made by Facepunch called Nicked, right? And as you can see, this specific game has its own individual menu and also server list, which you can click on to see who's playing what game on what map, like a normal server browser. So obviously, this is the way that these systems works, which allows you to go and choose what exact server you want to join within these games, just to give it a little bit more of its own personalized style and make every single game feel like an individual game with the option to implement a server browser into it or not. Switching over to the developers, let's talk about documentation and the wiki. So as you can see on my screen right now, I have the S&box wiki. The wiki is ran by the community. So if you want to learn anything, this is probably the best place to do so, but we'll do one even better with the official documentation that is on website, where you're able to learn absolutely everything in terms of the scene system and all the little bits and gizmos and other things you might want to know directly from Facepunch. There's also the official S&box Discord, where you're able to get a direct response from other developers within the community, which I totally 100% recommend, because you're probably going to start asking a lot of questions and you're going to want to know what to do next. So this is probably the best place so you can learn these things. Now, in terms of channels that I do recommend for the following things, feel free to check out these channels on YouTube because they're incredibly helpful, and these are really good places to start if you are more of a visual learner. And we're going to first start off with Smallfish and Carson. These are the two best channels in terms of learning beginner basics about the S&box editor and the scene system. There's also Eagle One with the hammer and source map tutorials, which is very much helpful if you want to get started on that. You also have Dan Do, which is a part of Facepunch's S&box development team that works on a lot of the modeling, and he does a ton of tutorials on how to get started with that or ways to improve. And in terms of coding right now, most C# tutorials on YouTube should be a really good chance for you to learn the basics about that coding language that S&box does use C#. But to learn the basics, this should be the best way to go and something to check out if you're wanting to do so. Now, another resource I wanted to recommend for many people who want to know these things is the S&box.game website itself. As you can see, there's a couple of different sections over here, which is like news, browse, API, and charts. If you click on browse, this is pretty much like the Steam Workshop, but Facepunch's version of it. Absolutely everything from games, models, maps, sounds, assets, libraries, everything you can think about that's a part of S&box is on this page, and you're able to view everything. This is the best page to learn absolutely everything that's currently on S&box, and also utilize some of this stuff within the S&box editor, as these are cloud assets. We're also going to include the API and also the charts page. This allows you to learn absolutely everything needed, specifically either with the API or in the charts tab, as you can see what is in the top 10, 14, 15 games currently on S&box right now, and also the maps. So this was definitely a lot, and I know that a lot of you are probably coming into this game for the first time. So there's a ton of resources and things that are available for you guys where you can check out for yourselves and get to learn and experience. Definitely make sure to stay tuned, as I'll be putting out a ton of different updates and also checking out some of the newer games that will be coming out. And who knows, maybe the game that some of you guys might be making will make it onto the channel. Otherwise, if you want to check out a ton of new games and things as you get access to S&box, definitely check out this video right here on screen. And thank you for watching.